First, I want to talk about a new series you got coming out called Coach Prime. It documents your first series as head coach at JSU. So tell us what we can expect to see.
You can expect to see a lot of energy, a lot of yelling, a lot of shouting, a lot of trying to unite people. We just met some of these kids. Now we're getting ready to go play a football game in less than a month. Snowstorm, this whole city froze. We were without water. Us just trying to meet needs that would not the proper resources that we needed to meet those needs. It's unbelievable. When you talk about HBCU, the HBCU life, you're talking about a situation that's underfunded and oftentimes overlooked. So we're just trying to bring solvency and level the playing field quite a bit so these kids get the opportunities that they deserve in life.
I'm glad you mentioned leveling the playing field. I funny enough, I worked in Jackson for a little bit, and I know how important Jackson State is. Yeah, I know how important Jackson State is to the community and bringing the attention to the HBCU colleges. And you said your goal is to kind of level the playing field, so to speak. So in your eyes, this upcoming season, what is that definition of leveling the playing field, even outside of, Coach Prime?
When I made the decision to go to Florida State out of high school, I didn't care about who was before me and what the depth chart looked like. I cared about two major things, three really. First, am I going to have an opportunity to get to the next level, which is the NFL? Can that get me or propel me there if I ball out? Yes. They say yes, cool. Next, where am I going to sleep? Okay, because I need somewhere to lay my head. I want to leave the hood and go to the hood. Okay. Now, what am I going to eat every day? Because my mom cooks, although she's not home to serve me because she was working, but she put it in the oven. We didn't have a microwave back then. I'm aging myself. So those are the things that really triggered me emotionally and that I wanted answers for. It's the same thing to this day. The kids don't want to leave the hood to go to the hood. We got to give them proper environments to make sure they lay their head at rest and they're fundamentally sound and they have a safe haven and a nice, comfortable place. Now, what are they going to eat 3 times a day? Can we satisfy that need? Food and nutrition, the proper fitness programs and all those things. Now, can they have does this navigational system take them to the NFL if they are qualified to? That's all kids want to know. And if we could satisfy that, that's leveling the playing field and get them the exposure simultaneously while we're doing all those 3 components.
And I know it's all about putting kids in a position to succeed. And funny enough, name, image, and likeness is now becoming a thing for college athletes. Mm-hmm. How do you feel like that role is going to play in moving forward with Jackson State and how you're going to kind of play a part of that? Do you see that genuinely helping the kids out?
I love it. I think it should because these kids bust their butt and now they want to make something if they're capable. But the problem is so many of these kids think they just deserve it and not work for it. And like a couple of my players are like, who knows you? Like, what company is going to put money on your book? Nobody knows you. Like, you got to have something that they're gaining off the relationship. What value do you have? Okay, let me show you how to create value. First of all, you don't create value just in the game. That starts at practice because the game is only a reflection of what you did at practice. So let's start your practice habits. Let's start to articulate yourself. Let's start grooming yourself to make sure you look good, and shaving and making sure you're properly dressed. And when you speak it, you articulate. Somebody that's sitting at home with a remote control says, I like that kid. That kid it has something. So it's so many components to this. I love like this. I love it all. But these kids got to understand, you got to have a product. You got to have a product before somebody wants to partner with you.
I do want to talk a little bit about the current state of the NFL. I'm sure you've got your own ideas about the new taunting rules. So I want to play a little hypothetical game with you.
Oh, let's do it.
Okay, perfect. So let's bring primetime Deion Sanders in today's game. So you just made a huge defensive play in a key moment. Emotions are riding high. You fully express to everyone in the stadium and on the film. And then boom, the refs throw a flag for taunting, 15-yard penalty, automatic first down. So how would you respond to that? How should players in your mind respond to that? Because I'm watching and I'm like, wow, I don't know how I would.
I've never taunted. Like, contrary to popular belief, I high-stepped and I danced and I put the hand behind the head when I was scoring, but I've never tried to embarrass or belittle my opponent. I've never spoke negatively about the guy I was playing against. I've never spiked the ball in his face after I've been dominant. I've never done that. I danced and had a good time within the game, because that's what people do ordinarily. Like if you out there with your girlfriends or with the guy friends and you playing pickup before during football game in the parking lot, if you score, you're gonna do something. Like I felt like you should dance. I'm not doing that to belittle you. I'm just doing that because it's a joyful moment. So I never was a taunter. Anyway.
I guess from the rules being put in place to protect the quarterback to these new taunting rules
Right.
for the clean tackles, it seems like it's harder and harder to play effectively defense in the NFL. But again, that's just coming from my thoughts. So what's your current take on the way the game is played, or even how officiating is going?
It's gotten a little soft. It's gotten a little soft, but we got to protect these young men. We got to protect them at all costs. But they're going too far with the hitting with the quarterbacks. You can't lay a quarter. Now you got to just pretty much put a pillow up on his head before you sack him and lay him down comfortably. You can't really touch him at all. They're going a little too far, and they're taking the physicality out of the game. But it's one thing to take the physicality out, but to keep it safe. I don't mind keeping it safe, but it still has to be a physical game. And if you could find that line in betwixt, you've done your job, and that's not easy.
Hey, sports fans, if you want to watch more sports seriously, be sure to check out these clips right here. And make sure you're subscribed to the channel to see all the great content from us here at USA Today Sports.